One student in an internet cafe. Two. That's good. Alright. So, as I have said in the notice sent to you via email, we are going to discuss qualitative data analysis in these sessions. And just before I start, I want to make sure that you are familiar with the tools we are going to use in the meeting. Now, do you see my mood at the top of the screen? Everybody please click on yes, I mean just thumb up to know that you all know how to use the icon. Good, very nice. Okay. Now, in our last face-to-face sessions, we discussed about three very popular types of qualitative research. Can you type into the chat window the three kinds of qualitative research that we discussed last time? So what were they? I want you to do this without looking at the M-learning system. Okay, case study. What else? Now, we discussed three forms. Apart from case study, what else? Okay, good. Nice. Ethnography research and action research. Now, so we have already got an overview of the different kinds of qualitative research, and in this session we start looking at some of the techniques for analyzing qualitative data. We are not going to cover every techniques, but there are some very popular techniques in processing qualitative data that we should make ourselves familiar with. And I will try to give you some hands-on activities so that you have a little experience of how we work with qualitative data. Now, could you give me some examples of qualitative data that we discussed last time into the chat window? Now we have already know that qualitative data are the kinds of data that are not in numbers, not in numerical forms. So, can you give me some examples of those kinds of data? Kinds of data that cannot be collected and measured numerically. Okay, good. Student attitude. But student attitude is what we want to measure. We measure student attitude through interview, right? What else? We can also use questionnaires. Yeah. Let's just type in something here. Kinds of product like most. Well, you see that it is cut, and I cannot see what is after that. Now, so I have just mentioned one kind of qualitative data that we may need to analyze. There are the interview script or transcript. you record the interviews and then transcribe the interviews into scripts in which we need to analyze. Now there are lots of other kinds of qualitative data that we mentioned last time. Now come on, can you think of any other sources of data? I think there should be about 10 different kinds of data that can be analyzed qualitatively apart from the interview transcript. Yeah, survey. Okay. However, please remember that with survey we also have open-ended questions and closed questions. With open-ended questions, we have qualitative data, and with like a scale questions, like asking people to rate something from 1 to 5, then it's quantitative. Now, the video recording that we look at, for example, you observe a classroom by analyzing a video of the meeting, that is also qualitative data. Now, last time we also talked about images, right? We can also use snapshots, photos, okay, of a research site in order to make a report. And okay, by analyzing images, we are actually working with qualitative data. Now, can you think of any other sources of information that can be analyzed qualitatively? Well, quite interesting. Jan gave me an answer like scores on achievement tests. Do you think that this is qualitative data? Now, scores on achievement tests, are they? Oh yes. Score is obviously, quantity. Okay, there's a number. You use statistics procedures to work with the test scores. Now, if you record, okay, yeah, people attitude to different kinds of smartphone. Okay, I agree. Yeah, people feelings, people perceptions, people attitudes are all different kinds of data that we can analyze qualitatively. But I am looking for answers for concrete data. For example, video recordings, audio recordings, interview transcripts, photos, images. What else? For example, if I work on a research, yeah, exactly. The forum discussion is what I'm looking for. Okay. Or the log from the chat that we are working on is also a source of qualitative data. Yeah, camera recording is basically very similar to video recording. Now, we can also analyze emails, right? reports from the organizations. We can also analyze written text, essays, symbols, by quoting part of the essay or some phrases in the essays, you are actually working with qualitative data. Remember what we discussed last time about writing literature essays when you were in high school? By analyzing a poem, quoting and analyze phrases in the poem, you are working with qualitative data too. There is another very important source of qualitative data. They are called field notes. So field notes are the kinds of notes that the researcher themselves take from his or her observations of what is going on at the research site. Now, last time in our face-to-face meeting classes, I gave you examples of metrics in which the researcher presents field notes of her observation of the classes that she was in charge. That is also an example. Okay, so in a nutshell, we have lots of different kinds of qualitative data, and from our previous discussion, we have mentioned several important sources like video recording, audio recordings, interview transcripts, photo images, written text, symbols, objects, artifacts. It looks like some of you are having problem with the sounds. This can occur when we have slow internet connection. In a couple of moments, I will try to turn off the camera so that we can save bandwidth for the sounds. Now, so let's come back to qualitative data analysis. In essence, qualitative data analysis is the range of processes or procedure, in which we use to purify, to interpret the raw data that we have collected, and turn them into some forms of explanation, understanding, and interpretation that we can make meaningful and sensible to other people. And the process of qualitative data analysis is mainly in interpretative. I mean, to a certain extent, it is subjective. Like what I have already discussed in the previous meeting, it depends on the experience, the expertise of the researchers to a certain extent. Now, these are several important questions that a researcher should ask when working with qualitative data. First, we look at the patterns or the common themes that occur again in the data that we collected. In a couple of moments, I'm going to give you sample data that you need to work with and find out the common patterns or the common themes. Apart from looking for the common themes emerging from the data collected. We also look for the deviations, the outliner, okay, the other aspects that are very different from the common themes, but can also be interesting. And we will also look for possible explanations for those differences or deviations from the common trend. Now, we also try to look for interesting stories, interesting details that emerge from the data collected. And in your qualitative report, usually the readers will be very interested in reading these interesting stories. Now, when we work with qualitative data, we also examine whether we should collect additional data in order to reinforce our findings, or in order to expand the research basing on the evidence that we have collected. We can also, as an alternative, look for the strain themes, the strain patterns that arise from our qualitative source of data, to see if our findings agree or disagree with what has been found out previously. So, to sum up, when we work with qualitative data analysis, for one thing, we try to find out the common patterns that arise from the data, and for another thing, we look for this, the deviations, the differences on the strain parts, that stand out from the common trends. And we also look for these tales, look for stories that can be interesting in our report. Now, basically the process of qualitative data analysis involves these 5 important steps: data reductions, data organizations, data interpretations, and then validation, and lastly reporting. Now, we are going to look at 8 of these stages in details right now. So, data reductions mean we try to find out the important themes that arise, and then we assign those themes, those patterns with codes, or put them into categories, and then that's the second step, data organization. With that, we can start making conclusions and come back to the research questions to see if what we have found out agree or disagree with the hypothesis we put forward in the beginning with the research questions. And after that, we track our finding and then write the report. Now, in data reductions, we read the recorded material carefully, and as said before, we try to look for the major themes or the major pattern that arise. Now, since quality data can be um, um, huge, and the amount of text you work with can be very much time consuming. So usually we need to have a time frame when working with the sources of data. If you do research for small scale projects like student essays, or even an MIT system, you may only need to work with transcript data, or you may only need to process responses from a surveys, open questions in the surveys. But sometimes you can work with a database that can amount to thousands of entries. For example, if you work on a research about interaction in our learning system, and although our learning system right now is not so busy, we have around 600 students. But if I export the discussions of those 600 students in order to analyze, you can see that the amount of work can be a great deal. And that's why I say the winnowing, the process of selecting what is useful, what is usable from the rest can be difficult and time consuming. So data reduction is usually the first step and the most time consuming step. When we move on to the next stage, things are easier. Now we have already seen the popular, the common trends from our data source. We start to put them into categories, and we may also assign codes in order to count how often they occur, so that we can have quantification in some way. Look like several people now start to have sound problem. Well, I will turn up the webcam for a moment so that we can say the bandwidth for our sound. Okay, now in the third step, interpretations, we make conclusion and decide whether the themes we have collected support or disapprove what we have assumed in our hypothesis. Now, in the interpretation process, we can also need to collect data again, organize data again, if we feel that that's necessary in order to reach a better conclusions. Now, we now have a little hands-on activities before I go on. Now, I would like you to log into our learning system and then go to topic 8, qualitative data analysis. Are you on with me? Good. Now, so I want you to log into our learning system and go to our topic 8, qualitative data analysis. Very good. Thank you for the response. So I know that most people are still okay with the meeting. Now I want you to download the first Word document, hands-on analysis. What do you like about this course? Okay, now so in this file, in this file, what do you like about this course? You can see data collected from a surveys in our learning system. Well, let me show you. Okay, so these are the entries from an open-ended questions in a survey that I collected at the end of the technology and language teaching course. And in order to get a student feedback about the course and ideas for improvement in the coming course, I asked students these questions. What do you like about this course? And you can see about 100 answers, 100 entries for these questions only. I want you to spend about 5 minutes now, looking through this, qualitative data source, and then type into the chat windows the common themes or the common patterns that you can find out from the data. So we are working in our very first step, data reductions. Yeah, so basically I want you to give me about at least five things that the students say they like about the course. So that's the point we are working on. We are trying to reduce the qualitative data collected and come up with the major points, the major themes. Okay, so Peg has given us a theme: system management. Okay, system attitude toward the system. I see that. I see that we are working with the student attitudes toward the system, but I want you to be more specific when you work with the teams. For example, a lot of students say they like about website design. Okay, now part of the course project, the student need to design a website that contain resources for language teaching, and they let me turn on the webcam so that we have more interactions. Okay, so a lot of students say they like website designing in the course because they learn a lot of skills. Now if you read the entries, you can see that mentions in a lot of the entries, so the student enjoy the final project, right? So they love the website design. Okay. What else can you identify? Now, don't worry about your own answers, because as you see, we have already made that clear at the beginning. Qualitative data analysis is very much interpretive. That means my interpretations of these data can be different from yours. Now, I have already made a list of my 5 different themes arising that I think important from the qualitative data. I'm looking for yours. Okay, look like Thịnh has a question. What? Can you hear me now? Because it looks like the connection is okay. Well, it's fine. Well, I will chat in here instead. Can you see my webcam? Good, good. Okay. Well, I think I need to check my microphone. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Microphone volumes going up. Testing 1 2 3.
Thank you for using AnyMeeting.
Okay. Thank you for using AnyMeeting. I hope that it's better now. Okay. Can you hear me now? All right, all right. I will now, well, let me pause the meeting a little bit. Okay. Good. Yeah, so looks like we are now okay to go on. Now, so let me tell you the task again. I want you to log into the learning system. Okay, I want you to log into the learning system and download the 5 in our practice areas. Which 5? Yeah, let me show you this one. Hands-on analysis. What do you like about this course? And let me give you the background information again. This Word document contains responses from an open questions in a survey in which I collect students' feedback at the end of the technology in language teaching course. So this is a kind of qualitative data that we need to work with. I want you to start with the first step, data reduction. Okay, I want you to look through the entries in the Word file and then tell me the common themes or the common pattern that arise from these files. Try to bring out about 3 to 5. Right? Let me make it 3 so that you do not have to go there. Try to bring out about 3 or 5 important themes that arise from the file. Okay. Yeah. Positive feedbacks. That's the overall comments. But I want you to look into the major themes. For example, if you look through the responses, I can see that many students like the ED quiz applications, how to create a website. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. ED quiz. Don't worry if your interpretation is different from mine, because as I have said in the beginning, qualitative data analysis is subjective. Okay, so mention the comments, the technology part. Okay, I agree with Hack, because in many entries, students say that they like the technology they learn from the course. They believe that these technology can help them in their future work environment. Okay, well, some students do like the tutorial and the instruction movie clips in the system. What else can you bring out so far? Okay, so we have brought out several teams technologies. The course is practical. I mean, lots of technologies that are useful. Group work. Okay, so group work is also a theme that occurs from the data. Yeah, I agree with Joji's comments. Well, another theme that you can see arising from our data is the convenience that the system offers. The course is flexible. Student can web design. As I have already told in the beginning of the activities, the students are required to work on a website project, and they need to submit a website containing resources for language teaching. And it looked like a lot of students enjoy working on the website project online. Yeah, useful for future jobs. Okay, good. Okay, Hot Potatoes is another software application that a lot of students mentions. And some students love the exercises that they can do at home. Now, what else? Alright, so you have brought up a lot of themes that arise from our data files, and I have said in the beginning, my interpretation can be different from yours, but these are my 5 themes from the data file. Okay, so I can see that lots of students enjoy designing the website, right? They also love the useful software's application. Actually, we work on lots of different softwares in the course. They also enjoy online learning sometimes. They appreciate the technology, skills that are practical for their future work environment. And a lot of them mention, as you can see in the data, a lot of them mention ED quiz, the software application that help them to create multiple choice language tests and run multiple choice language tests in computer labs. Okay, now I want you to do the same, and this time because we are experienced, I expect that things can be faster. I want you to come back to our emailing system and download the hands-on analysis. What difficulties did you have during the course? Now, so I want you to do the same. Open the file and identify the major difficulties that a student have. Okay, so I want you to try to bring up about 3 themes or 3 patterns, that arise from this data file. Okay, so let me say this again. Open hands-on analysis. What difficulties did you have during the course in our emailing system? Look through the entries there, and again, tell me the major problem that the student have. Okay, a lot of students can complain about the amount of time they need to put in to the course. Too much reading to do. Internet connections. Sometimes difficult for students to follow the instructions. Okay, technology problems. Good. So do you now can start to be able to identify the themes much faster. Good. Okay. Now, so we have identified the common, let me put it again. We have identified the common themes from the data, like the common theme. Well, okay. So let me say this again. The common themes we have identified from the files are internet connection problem. Okay, it's okay too time consuming for students to work on the tasks in the system. A lot of reading. Students have difficulty following the instruction from the teachers. Now, are there any deviations? I mean, are there anything that are particularly interesting that are different from the major themes that you can point to? Yeah, so too much reading resources can be an interesting story for discussions. So when I write a report about the feedback of this course, I can make this as an interesting story. Right, I can make this as an interesting story. I can say that the beauty of the system is to provide a lot of different kinds of material, different resources for the students. Okay, but why that is the benefit? That is the advantage of learning with the system. Okay, a lot of students complain about the workload, or about especially about the amount of materials that they have to read, and this can be something that has to do with the student online learning skills. In this age of the internet, we have to cope with the huge amount of reading we have to process. And so reading skills like skimming, scanning, reading for tricks, reading for main ideas, your reading speed, all those sorts of skills need to be improved, right? So that's an interesting point, or an interesting story. I can write for my report of this part. Okay, now can you still hear me well, everybody? Can you hear me? Restart the web browser. Well, the sound is now back. Okay, don't worry. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay now. Now, can you all see the slide that I'm showing on step number 4, validations of the qualitative data? If you can see the file, and if you can hear me, say yes, yes, yes. Yeah, slide number 4, validations. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So the sound is okay now. Right. So we have practiced a little bit the first 2 steps. Data reductions and data organization. I mean, we organize data into some forms, visual form, and we will look at that in details later. We also interpret the 2 data sources a little bit. Now, in the validation steps, the researchers and the participants, okay, may work with each other to, okay, come to an agreement on, okay, the major themes and patterns that are okay, reported in the research. Now, validations can also be achieved, as you can see from the slide, by comparing with, okay, the other groups doing the same research projects to see if we have similar patterns, if we have the similar themes, if the themes that we have, you know, that we have taken from the data are so different from the other groups, we may need to cross-check. We may need to, okay, try to think at least about why they are so different. Now, the last step is to write a report of the qualitative data, and as you see from our assignment in the M-learning system, you are going to write a qualitative report for the two data files that we have worked at, that we have discussed in the previous activities. Now, usually we have separate, part in the research for, okay, this part for this report, and it normally comes under the discussions. If we work on thesis or graduation essays, it may come under, okay, a chapter entitled discussion. Now, when you write a report in the qualitative analysis, it is useful to all right, let me turn the webcam back. Now, when you write a qualitative report in this part, it is useful to make direct quotation from, okay, the data source. For example, when I write a report, I can copy this entry, okay, and then paste it in my report as a kind of evidence, showing that, okay, this is one of the important themes, or this is one of the important patterns that I can see from the data. Now, just a quick check, because, okay, some of you are still having problem with the sounds. Can you see the next slide? Display qualitative data. Can you see the slide? Okay, good. So the sound is still fine. Well, I have never experienced this problem before. Okay, this is the first meeting in which, okay, the sounds keep, coming on and on. It can be, an internet connection problem. Now, so let's come back. For displaying qualitative data, we can have, okay, several different ways to show our data visually to the reader. We can use okay, boxes. Okay, we can make a tree, to show how the different themes or how the different patterns relate to each other. We also can use a flow chart to okay, shows how one lead to another, letters or matrix is also a very popular form of displaying qualitative data. I remember showing you, okay, several times, okay, the use of tables showing classroom observation data in the previous sample research paper. Um, Now, sometimes you can see metaphorical visual display. Um, this is not used very often, but um, people may love to use metaphorical visual display to, okay, describe the metaphor, okay, of the topic of the themes found. You may also see Venn diagram. Okay, originally it is used in mathematics. Okay, but the Venn diagram is also a good way to indicate overlapping aspects of concepts or categories. Network taxonomies are also two other different ways in which qualitative data can be displayed. Now, I want you to do a hands-on activities. Go back again to our M-learning system and download this file. Display qualitative data analysis by the two researchers Susanna and Norma. Okay, can you see the PDF file in our M-learning system? Display data in qualitative analysis. Yes. Okay, so I want you to open the file. Yeah. Good. The article talks about how qualitative data can be displayed visually in different ways, especially, okay, in ways that we have just discussed. I want you to look at the let me show you the article on the screen so that it is recorded here. I want you to read through the articles in about 5 minutes. Yeah, so just scan it very quickly and tell me from this article what are the three most popular visual displays used in the three qualitative journals. Let me turn off the notifications. Okay, box display, Venn diagram. Yeah, I want you to answer the second question on the screen. What are the three most popular visual displays used in the three qualitative journals that the two researchers tried to sum up? Okay. Flowchart, figures. Are you sure? Okay. Well, Hương just okay disconnect. Well, we are talking about the different forms of visual display to present qualitative data, and you can see the instructions on the slide. Just follow the instruction. Display qualitative data analysis is now available in our learning system. So download that PDF file, read it for several minutes very quickly, and then try to answer the questions. What are the 3 most popular visual displays used in the 3 qualitative journals? This information will be very useful for you when you need to write a qualitative report or qualitative research paper. Yeah, I think Lan Phương has come to the exact answers. Matrix, flowchart, and visual display. Those are the 3 most popular. Yeah, matrix. Flow network. Yeah, matrix, network, and flowchart. Matrix 60% with more than 200. I think 227. Yeah, 227. Occurrences in the 3 journals, and then network 12.7%, flowchart. What is the percentage for flowchart? Can you put it there too, Tuyết Ánh? So matrix 60%, yeah, flowchart 9.2%. You can find that information inside the article. There is a table summing up. Summing up the different forms of analysis, the different form of displaying data that are popular. So if you go down to let me try to find that table. Okay. So where can you find that table? It's on page 14 of the PDF file. Table number 3. Everybody, can you see table number 3? Can you see table number 3 on page 14 of the PDF file? Yes. Yeah. So that table summarizes. Yeah, that table summarizes the most popular visual displays from most popular to least popular, and we can see from that table the 3 most popular are matrix, network, and flowchart. Now this is the last hands-on activities that I want you to do, and by logging back into our system for doing these activities, I want to do attendance check of our meeting today. Now I want you to create a plot entry in our learning system, and in the plot entry try to create a very simple table, and we call that a matrix to display the data collected from the technology and language teaching courses in the previous activities. So I want you to display data for 2 questions. Question number 1, what do students like about the course? Question number 2, what difficulties or what problem do students have in the course? We have already discussed the major themes, and now I want you to show those themes, those reports to the readers in a visual form. Okay, now in the articles that I have just given, you can see simple way of displaying data in the form of a matrix. If you need a sample to look at, I think you can go back to the articles. What display? Okay, you can go to page number 10. Page 10 of the PDF file, display data in quality analysis. And this is a sample matrix. So I want you to do the same, create a table or create a matrix in your plot entries. And okay, put in the major themes that we have identified in the previous activities. Well, I will now take attendance of the online meeting today. Okay, 36 people are present. Okay, I'm waiting for the first matrix to come up. Okay, everybody, I'm still waiting for your matrix. If you have already finished creating the entries, please type that into the chat window saying, well, I have just created an entry, so that I can have a look at your matrix and give comments for the whole class. Okay, you can create a block entry by go to our course. I'm quite surprised that okay, some people do not know how to create a block entry because you have already done this before. Go to navigations, menu on your left screen, and then click on side pages, then click on side blocks, and then you can click on add a new entries. Yeah, when you add a new entry, you can create a table, create a very simple table. Well, let me explain again. I want you to come into the system, create a block entries. If I show you a sample, then it's no longer a task that you work on yourself. Now, if you need a sample, you can go to the PDF file and look at page number 10. Well, I will try to create a sample for you then. Okay, it's very good. I can now see the first matrix given by Dương Thị Hương Trang. Yeah, good points, bad points. Okay, about feedback to the course. Well, you can draw a table and then it could be the form, okay, of visual display. Let me see if there are any other entries. Okay. So you can see, okay, one very simple matrix that I have, okay, share on our meeting screen. Let me share another sample from a graduation thesis 2 years ago. Yeah. Open. Now everybody can now please go back to our meeting screen. Can you see, okay, another sample matrix that I have just set on the screen? Please type yes into the chat window if you can see it. Good. So you see, this is a more complicated matrix in which you can see reports on achievement and drawbacks on very simple good points and bad points about lessons being taught with my maps. Now I will turn our meeting to questions and answer mode so that
all attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Now, do you have any questions that you want to raise to the whole class? If you have questions, please go to My Mood and click on Raise Hands. I give you microphone so that you can speak to the whole class. Hope that our sound will be okay for this part. Still looking for questions. Okay, if you do not have any questions, then let me sum up. In our online discussion today, we have learned about the different steps of qualitative data analysis, and as I have said again and again, these are only the very basic techniques that we use to work with qualitative data. You need a lot of practice in order to be good with analyzing qualitative data. Now, for your homework, I want you to keep working on your plot entries. If you have not finished, create a plot entries, because that will show up in your profile and I can see that. And your final assignment, for this topic on qualitative analysis is to write a qualitative report. You can see the instructions for the assignment when you click on that. So in less than 500 words, I want you to write a qualitative report for the findings that we have discussed with the two research questions, with the two open questions in our survey of the technology and language teaching course. What do students like about the course, and what difficulties students have when working on the course? You can find a lot of samples qualitative report, when you open the sample qualitative research papers that I have given you in the previous meeting, go to the research paper and look at the discussion part, look at the findings. Look at the findings part and see how findings from a qualitative data analysis can be reported. Oh, Duyên, look like you have a question. Yes, you can type your questions there. Okay, Duyên, you have questions? Okay, so this is in questions. How can I analyze data to put in matrix? As I have said, a matrix can be either very simple or it can be very complicated. The simple matrix that I have given you, analyzing the qualitative data from the responses of the technology and language teaching courses, shows a very simple table. And the later one, from a graduation essay, look more complicated, but actually you can see basically only two important columns: achievements and drawbacks. Now the other columns just show the stages and the categories in which the achievement and feedbacks are categorized. So how can I analyze data to put in matrix? As I have said, you collect qualitative data from interviews, from open answers in surveys, and then reduce the data to themes or topics or patterns in the first step that we have already discussed, data reductions. And then this very much depends on your experience. You need to create a tables with headings, and usually those headings show the categories, and inside each category you put in the themes or the points. Okay, so just for an example, let me show you the matrix, the very simple matrix that we have just worked on again. To course overview from student. Now you see, this is a very simple matrix. I can develop this after we have already worked with the themes like student line, the practical software application, student line learning online because it is convenient. Okay, the categories are categorized by yourself. Yeah, exactly so. And that's why I have just said qualitative data analysis is very much subjective interpretations. My matrix can be very different from yours. Okay. In one of the plot entries in the system, I see one student putting good points and bad points instead of using strengths and problems, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Now, each researcher may have a different format, a different matrix, but the themes that we present should not be too much different from each other. Well, in your assignment, you I don't want you to use all of the kinds of visual display that we have learned so far. In about 500 words, I mean in one A4 size page of typing, I want you to present the major findings, like the strengths of the course, the problems of the course, you can use the matrix that you have developed, and now you need to put the point in, in writing, and in that writing you may need to quote students. It's hard for me to give you sample, but you can go to the qualitative journals and read the finding reports to see how the researcher report their finding. The maximum should be 500 words. At most 500 words. I have said less than 500 words. So your writing your report can be 200, 300, 400, but do not make that too long. Now, is it clearer to you? I think the deadline will be next week. Hey, there's one thing I need to tell. Next Tuesday I will be in Huế doing training, so we will not have any meeting, face-to-face meeting. I mean, next Tuesday. Instead, you need to work, and I think now the workload is quite heavy for you. I need you to work on the activities for the 3 topics of qualitative research: action research, ethnography, and case study. And then work on the materials in analyzing qualitative data. That's a lot of readings and a lot of work for you. So next week there will be no face-to-face meeting. The week after next, we come back to lab G204. Is it clear to you? G204. Let me type the message here. So the week after next, we will be in G204, and we work on quantitative analysis using SPSS. So we spend about, I think, 3 or 4 weeks in lab 3G204, working with SPSS. Is it clear to you? Good, thank you. Alright, everybody, it's time to say goodbye now for our first online meeting. I can see about more than 30 students joining these online discussions, and I can pretty sure that this is a very good experience for you as student and also for me teaching this course. I'd like to say thank you for all of you for taking the time joining this online meeting, and I will see you again the week after next in lab G204. During the meeting there was sound problems, and there was some connection problem for some of you, but that is fine because our meeting is recorded, and I think by the end of the day you can see the whole recording of our meeting with very clear sounds recording and visuals recording uploaded to YouTube, and the link of the movie will be shared back to our system, and I will also give you more instruction in our learning system. I think I have already checked your attendance. One student asked about attendance tracking. I think from the report of the system, there are 36 students online at the moment. Okay, I can see Thing. The deadline for the plot entries is set in the system, but usually I give you all at least 1 week to finish the task. Well, everybody, it's time to say goodbye. Again, thank you very much for joining the meeting today. Um, and yeah, have a great weekend. I will see you again soon. Bye bye.